Hi, I'm Lisa, and this is Earth. This bit of Earth is located in the southern part of the Sacramento Mountains of New Mexico. If you're new here, I'm a 58-year-old woman who has chosen to opt out of a rigged system and find peace in a slow, minimal, off-grid retirement on a very strict budget. I'm so close to my final move onto my land, and I can't wait to get started creating my life there. Be sure and watch till the end to meet a local landowner who specializes in owner financing. I know many of you have expressed interest in that sort of thing. Good morning. I'm frustrated. Remember 2 week ago, in a video when I said that the feeling is just very laid back and all of that, and that's great until you need something to be done. Need is also a strong word. According to my timeline, I should have been moved onto my property 2 weeks ago. Obviously, that hasn't happened. And so I'm frustrated. If you followed my channel, you know that I have worked diligently toward this goal for the last 8 or 9 months, and I am this close. I'm this close. And now I'm stuck in a holding pattern. And I'm wondering, what's the lesson here? Is this a patience lesson? Is this a trust lesson? I don't feel as though I can ask more of the people that are helping me to do this work, because I've gotten a great deal, and there's even barter and work arrangements involved that will make a septic possible where I thought it was impossible as far as expense goes. So I don't feel like I can say anything or exert any pressure, because it feels like looking a gift horse in the mouth. And I'm also very aware that this is the exact scenario. This is why I am hyper independent. I don't ask for help. I just get it done. I'm full on Gen X. Like, was a latchkey kid growing up. If I wanted something, I handled it. And I'm in the position right now of relying on other people who are not on my timeline, who don't feel the urgency, because it's okay if I stay here. And it's a very frustrating state of limbo that I'm in. Throughout my life, I have been given the nickname of the get it done gal, and I can't get it done right now. And this is hard for me. It's just hard. It's hard. So I'm struggling with that, with those feelings. I mean, it's been over 2 months now that I'm not settled. I don't have everything where it needs to be, where it wants to live. Now that I've lived it, I kind of know what the flow should be as far as storage in my trailer, in my Ivory. But I've been thinking for several weeks now that any day I'm going to be moving onto my land. So why put stuff away if I'm just going to have to move it for transport? So that's adding to the limbo feeling. I hate this. Straight up truth. I hate this. And I mostly hate feeling like there's nothing I can do. But wait. I was able to meet up with Don, my landlord, my current landlord, and talk with him extensively. Actually, we spent the entire afternoon talking about the history of this area, the land that he owns, about his owner financing, the way he handles it, because I know I've had several viewers who are interested in that information about this area and about, owner financing in general. Don and I are both history buffs, and we got into a lot of the history of the area when New Mexico was part of Mexico and the Spanish came in, and there's a lot to go through there. He talked about taking me up to see some ruins, And I'm very excited for that. I hope you all are too. We went and looked at land parcels that he has for sale, some with homes, some without. We talked about owner financing, how he deals with it, which is just really flexible. Several viewers have mentioned that they want his contact information to get in touch with him and discuss the possibilities. I will be working through the hours and hours of footage that I got for several weeks. I've decided that it's really hard to cut anything out because it was all so great, but I don't want to make a 5-hour video. I'm going to be creating like little segments that I will release each week for a while, and I will also have his contact information in the description box below for those of you who can't wait, who just want to contact him immediately. And if you do, please tell him that I sent you. If you are interested in land in this area and you would like to hire me to go and do a private video for you walking that parcel, I will happily do that. Please contact me at my email address that will be in the description box below as well. I will go scout your land or your potential land for you. We looked at several cabins that he has available for rent. So if someone was wanting to come and look at the land and experience the area, you could actually stay in one of these very nicely renovated cabins. It's not roughing it at all. He set them up very nicely. We talk about all of the different amenities that are in the area. We even drove the airstrip. Well, next to the airstrip, because you're not allowed to drive on the airstrip. And we also decided that we need several other trips to go and see everything. I'm going to make a series out of the Dawn interviews. So I'm going to add in a little teaser, the beginning of my interview with Dawn, and came out to my land because we did have a significant rain. I saw someone say it was over half an inch. So I'm hoping that I'm going to get a chance to actually see some runoff patterns. And I'm going to unload my haul from Lowe's, my pavers and whatnot. So it's good to feel like I'm doing something, you know? I didn't want to drive in because I didn't want to mess up any possible patterns. Let's see. What can we see? See a lot of little guys trying to live. Wow, like a lot already. Hardy little critters. I don't think even that was enough rain to really see the runoff. Look at that, how cool. All the new life. Some grasses. Yeah, it looks like that rain was just enough for a little soaking. It's good information to have. You can have a decent downpour and not be looking at rivers that I need to adjust for. Let me go see if the lower pond area is doing anything. It doesn't really look any different. Cleaner. Little runoff, I suppose. I just love seeing all the life wanting to happen. Look at that. I have purple flowers on my land next to this pinon. Is it a pinon? More flowers. Oh, I love that. I can't wait to watch this land transform with the spring.
May you find your
Looks like there was a little runoff here at the upper driveway. Okay, and that would go right under the middle of my trailer if it were a stronger rain. That's exactly where this runoff will go. Okay. Yes, I forgot my gloves. Classic. I have them in the car, but this is the last brick, so not sure if I should bother to cover them. Okay. Okay. I got something done. I don't know when I might be moving onto the property. There are some hurdles with supplies and whatnot that are holding up the digging of the septic. As soon as that happens, don't know when, I can move on to the property. My water storage tote, my 275-gallon IBC tote arrived today. Excited for that. I don't want to leave it on the land, so Tobias is going to take it out to his place and store it there for me until I can move here. And I believe the second non-potable IBC tote is also in the area. So it's something. I feel like a broken record saying it's such a beautiful day, but it's true. Ooh, a little windy. Sorry for the shaking. I'm gonna turn this off and meditate. Look what I got. I got my IBC tote for my drinking water. This is the potable one. Fall back onto it. Tobias picked it up for me. I had it shipped here in town, and Tobias picked it up and brought it here instead of to his place, because the point is just that it be somewhere that it can be watched so it isn't stolen. I'm excited to have this little bugger. This is a big piece of the puzzle. 275 gallons. Somehow it's bigger than I expected. Next to my trailer. This is a beast. Look how big. It comes with a 2-inch threaded outlet, fully sealed, which is good to see. I can trust that this is potable, however you say it. From what I understand, they make kits just for these that reduce that down to hose size. So there's a safety system on the valve This yellow thing, you have to pop it up before you can open it. I'm not sure what this is. I guess we're gonna find out eventually. Is this a screw off? Not sure, and I don't want to break it. Oh, this is holding it together. All right, so this is the inlet, obviously. I don't want to open it because I don't want to dirty it up. Now, I did get some black matte primer to paint this black to help to safeguard against algae growth. However, I only got 6 cans. Somehow in my mind, this was not this big. I would be surprised if I could get half of this painted with 6 cans. But anyway, painting it is something that I can do now since I'm looking for things to do, since I'm waiting for work to happen. If I paint it now, moving it, setting it up, and filling it could chip the paint. Do I care? Probably not. We have rain forecast for the next 2 days, followed by 3 days of high winds. So if I do decide to paint it, it's not going to be till after things settle down, weather-wise.
All the little things I couldn't say, may it hold you as you are and meet you where you stand.
I'm here today talking with Don Wicklund. He is my current landlord, and it occurred to me earlier that you are my last landlord.
That's a good
Right?
thing to be.
Exactly.
Congratulations.
Looking to get to know people and get to know the area a little more, and from what I understand, you're kind of the Timberon expert.
Well, I've been doing it for a while. I've been here buying property and visiting for 38 years.
38 years?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Where were you before that?
I was a firefighter in El Paso, and I got recruited to bring some Boy Scouts to a scout camp in Cloudcroft. Bear with me, that was before GPS. We got lost. We ended up here at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. I knocked on the first door that I saw a light in. The gentleman that answered the door, his name was Bill Cobb, and asked for suggestions. Where can we camp? Because these kids are tired. We'll have to look in the morning. He says, just camp here by the river on his property. And I thought that was so cool that a couple of weeks later I came back and ended up purchasing property. That was in 1988.
That's such an unusual thing, that you've met someone for 5 minutes and they're like, come stay on my property. That's been my experience with everybody I've met, is just, hi, I'm so-and-so here, let me help you out, more than I would even imagine.
People are very giving and welcoming here.
Yeah.
I like to say Timberon is like going back in time 40 or 50 years. It was before people were so apprehensive about everything. People look out for each other. There's a true sense of neighborhood here.
That's definitely something that has been remarkable to me, is that sense of community, even with somebody brand new.
As small as it is, we have to have each other's back. It's a long ways to go for groceries or gas or whatever, so we look out for each other.
What I have noticed is that Timberon is very unique in that it's very remote, but also there are a lot of services here that you probably wouldn't expect if you stumbled across the town like you did. There are stores and the airstrip that you mentioned, community pool. There are quite a few things here. How did that all come to be?
Timberon was the dream of Johnny Mobley. He was a realtor, and he saw this ranch for sale and had the idea of trying to put together a new mountain community. 1880, the railroad arrived to El Paso, and there was a guy named Oliver Lee. He homesteaded just south of Alamogordo in Dog Canyon. He was one of the first cattle ranchers in the area. There was a little bit of friction between his lifestyle with cattle cattle guys and the previous people that were here, which were mainly little Hispanic communities like La Luz, Tularosa. They were more of a self-sustaining small farm, and the ranchers wanted to have cattle here. So that caused some friction. Anyway, Oliver Lee was pretty aggressive, and he had the backing of bankers from El Paso. And he expanded and expanded and expanded. At one time, his Circle Cross Ranch extended all the way from Mescalero, New Mexico, which is 75, 80 miles north of us here, all the way to Van Horn, Texas. 1,000,000 acres all told.
That's amazing.
But when the 20s hit, there was an extended drought that had a huge effect on the cattle market. Then the Depression hit. A lot of his assets had to be sold off, including, which is now Timberon. This was leased land from New Mexico. New Mexico just became a state. So he lost the lease to this, I guess. And a guy named Judge Moss bought it in, I think, 1933. He was hunting in Mexico during the Mexican Revolution and got kind of kidnapped and held for ransom there for a while, from what I understand. So he was, he loved the outdoors, he loved the remoteness, he loved the hunting, but he didn't want to be south of the border anymore. So he was able to buy this ranch. His son married a Hollywood actress named Jane Withers. Jane was kind of like a contemporary to Shirley Temple. I didn't really know much about her, but when I was at the Chinese Theater in Los Angeles, her handprints are right in the cement right next to Cary Grant. So she was somebody important.
She's legit.
In that time period, the late 50s, early 60s, this kind of became a Hollywood hangout where people would come to get away from the paparazzi or whatever. She was married to Judge Moss's son. Then in 1965, I believe, the ranch was sold to William Farah. He was always interested in aviation. He had been I think a B-29 pilot during World War II. So he loved having the airstrip here. And his family held the ranch for several years. In 1969, they sold it to a group of investors called North American Land Development. And Johnny Mobley was the head of that. Originally, his idea was for this ranch to be kind of a sportsman's paradise where people with money would buy into it and have a private hunting club. They saw this huge empty pallet here, close to 15,000 acres. They just thought it was too beautiful just to hold for a few people. So they turned it into a new mountain community. And they realized that to bring the infrastructure to something this big, they were going to have to charge quite a bit of money to pay for the infrastructure.
Sure.
There's over 200 miles of roads here. What was subdivided into lots was about 7,400 lots. So just you think of what it costs. If you've ever had to pay for a survey, what it would cost to survey this whole area.
Wow.
To bring electricity, water, all of that. It was a huge expenditure. To be able to sell it for the money that they needed for it to be profitable, they put amenities here that nobody else had. The original plan was for an 18-hole golf course. They put in a community swimming pool. We had an airstrip. Put a series of lakes and water hazards here for fishing. They harvest more elk out of this area than anywhere else in the country. So it really is a sportsman's paradise.
Still to this day.
It is,
yes.
Yeah. They marketed it as a country club type thing. It was by membership. They had restrictive covenants.
Yeah.
And that worked. In the 70s and 80s, this place was selling like hotcakes. They did really well until the late 80s. The whole economy in the United States was rocked by the savings and loan crisis. Interest rates went up to 18.5%. That didn't work well because they were owner financing at 10 or 12%, and their variable loans that they were borrowing money went up to 18.5%. They got upside down.
Yeah.
The banks that were backing them, a lot of them got upside down and failed and were taken over by the government. And the Resolution Trust Company came in and liquidated. They went into bankruptcy. Timberon became kind of a ghost town. Before COVID, there was probably fewer than 300 people here.
Wow.
We're being rediscovered now, and we think there's around 1,000 people now.
You mentioned they putting in the roads and the water. A lot of my viewers are interested in potentially living off grid
Mm-hmm.
or getting some, some land for themselves in these uncertain times, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of doing what I've done,
Mm-hmm.
make my own certainty.
Mm-hmm.
And water is definitely an issue, especially in areas like New Mexico, Arizona. Now the water is in the streets, like it's ready to go from the water sanitation department. How much of the area would you say is plumbed in that way?
That's a good question. Not all of properties have services to them.
Mm-hmm.
I would guess between 60 and 70% of the lots have water or availability to water within their street. It might require a line extension, and it's weird because some areas will have water, but electricity is way off.
Perhaps we drew with our own hand. Follow the stars stretched out across the land. You wrap your arms around me as I sleep. So many nights I couldn't breathe. May someone hold you as you are, and
Be sure to hit subscribe to see more of my future adventures. And if you'd like to support my channel, click the join button below or head on over to Patreon. There's a link in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week.